Good day, class. In this lesson, we will learn to solve quadratic equations using the graphing method. Remember, to solve a quadratic equation, you can use factoring method, you can use the square root property method, completing the square method, the quadratic formula method, or the graphing method. Today, we will learn to use the graphing method for solving quadratic equations. Let's take a look at a quadratic and talk about some of the features of a quadratic equation. Notice how every quadratic equation is a quadratic equation because the highest power of the variable, when a variable is raised to a power, is 2. So notice we have x squared minus 5x plus 4 is equal to 0. The highest power of our variable in this equation is 2. Therefore, we have a quadratic equation, and every quadratic equation has a shape like what you see here on your screen when we graph it. It's shaped like a parabola. Sometimes we refer to it as a U, but it has a curve to it. So we must recognize when we have a parabola, we have a quadratic equation that is associated with it. Or when we have a quadratic equation, the associated graph is going to be shaped like a U. Now that U will give us some specific information about the solutions for the quadratic. Notice how we have an equation here, x squared minus 5x plus 4 is equal to 0. Just like with any other equation, there is a value or values of the variable that make a true statement. That is the purpose for solving an equation. Well, with quadratic equations, since that highest power of x is 2, that indicates that there are 2 possible solutions. Notice how on the left, this is an example of a quadratic equation that has 2 solutions. Notice how the parabola crosses the x-axis 2 times. Those indicate the solutions of that particular equation associated with that graph. Also notice on the right how this given quadratic equation, or the quadratic equation associated with this parabola, has a single solution or one solution where it is crossing the x-axis at one location. Therefore, any quadratic equation even as the one you see here on your screen, x squared minus 5x plus 4 is equal to 0, has a certain number of solutions up to